The world is divided into 4 spheres, each sphere divided among continents and nations. Nations are divided by borders and interests. These interests divide the news. We examine the impact of these divisions on people and power. This is Imaginary Minds. Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Chris Spanos. Coming up on the show, headlines reporting on Greece have focused on economic austerity and elections, but the country's vibrant social movements have their own ideas too. I'll speak with the authors of the new book, After Castoriadis, Roads to Autonomy in the 21st Century. But first, a look at mobile media. Instant messaging services, WhatsApp and Snapchat could be blocked in the United Kingdom. Prime Minister David Cameron has new plans to increase spying on communications. During an election campaign speech January 12th, the Conservative leader proposed measures to spy on discussions between terror suspects by removing encryption. The move has been previously blocked by coalition partner Liberal Democrats. The so-called Snoopers Charter would ban the instant messaging applications because their encryption cannot be removed, meaning they cannot be read by security services. The measures proposed in the legislation have come under fire from various factions in Britain, including Deputy Prime Minister Nick Clegg. Clegg countered that storing all social media interactions of every UK citizen would not be an effective way to counter extremism. World media has rightly focused on the economic crisis in Greece, but the country also has many vibrant social movements, which are constantly debating and updating their own ideas about society and social change. A new book applies the ideas of Greek philosopher Cornelius Castoriadis to many of the major problems that social movements face today. The book's title is After Castoriadis, Roads to Autonomy in the 21st Century. The book's authors, Alexandros Skizmenos and Nikos Ioannou, join me to discuss their book. First, can you explain who Cornelius Castoriadis is?
Castoriadis was a Greek philosopher with Greek origin who started from a Marxist revolutionary point, and he participated in the Greek and French Marxist and Trotskyist movement. But later on, he made a criticism on Marxism from a revolutionary standpoint. Castoriadis posed many questions, and especially the political question of who makes the decisions in a society and who is justified to make those decisions. And he posed this project of direct democracy, this project of autonomy, which we think that inspires the world and global movements of today.
So how does your book apply these ideas to the current crisis that Greece is facing?
So, our book is a way to use the frame of the philosophy of autonomy in order to interpret and act and in our modern day movements. And our book poses the question of direct democracy and the questions of public space and time. We have found through our experience and our social practice, and especially through the movements of Occupy in Greece and worldwide, that the only way that we can construct and create a movement of the people, for the people, is if we accept each personality as a free man, and if we make a frame of direct democracy where everybody could participate in his own person with his own decision. This, of course, requires a form of education, a democratic education, and this education is what accompanies the practice of social movements. Νίκο, ρωτάει τι σχέση έχει το βιβλίο μας και τι προσπαθούμε να κάνουμε με τη σκέψη του Καστοριάδη και το σήμερα.
Ναι, αυτό που προσπαθούμε να κάνουμε στο βιβλίο μας είναι με εργαλείο τη σκέψη του Καστοριάδη να μπορέσουμε να ανιχνεύσουμε
What Nikos says is what I said before, that we are trying to use as an instrument the philosophy of Castoriadis to interpret it, but also through the movements of internet as well, and this feeling of globality.
What does all this mean for the kinds of ideas and propositions that society and social movements are considering as an exit to the current social and material crisis?
What we are trying to say to the social movements is that the social movement should always refer to the whole of society. A social movement should not demand authority for itself. It should break down the imaginary of authority and refer itself to a power of the whole society. So we believe in an open, democratic, direct democratic, anti-authoritarian social movement that extends globally. So we have to break down authority, and we have to regain our power as a society, as individuals of a free society, in order to construct a new world.
And now we'll look at more media-related news. The U.S. Justice Department released new guidelines regarding when the federal government may investigate journalists. The new guidelines mandate that the Attorney General must authorize probes into all news-gathering activities. Attorney General Eric Holder made the announcement Wednesday, January 14th. In his statement, the Attorney General expressed that the new rules strike an appropriate balance between law enforcement's need to protect the American people and the news media's role in ensuring the free flow of information. The new guidelines also define the range of conversations required within the Justice Department before prosecutors may search reporters' records. This decision comes in the wake of the department's investigation of New York Times journalist James Risen in order to force him to expose one of his sources. Ultimately, Risen did not have to testify in the CIA leak case, eliminating possible jail time if he had refused to testify. That's it for today's Imaginary Lines. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Chris Spanos. Please join me next week.